Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. Hickson has it hotline. By the way, Hickson Autoplex on Thursday. Probably going to broadcast somewhere tomorrow.
You'll be gone Wednesday and Thursday?
Yeah, Wednesday I'll be in Shreveport, and then Thursday I'll be in at Hickson. Shreveport, I'm working a deal with them to broadcast actually from the studio area. So we will see if Alan Seaball wants to come. Maybe Robert Alley will come by and tell us the name of that company. Remember the name of the company? We stabilized the budget. I got a company in Texas ready to move here right now. Robert Alley said that. Well, they ought to be moving now. Although I don't think the budget's stabilized because I've been watching this crap for 25 years and it's never been stabilized. Never. And it wasn't a $2 billion budget to start with. And all the things that Bill Edwards has said from the process to now and yesterday, what a joke. I'll get to all that. Republicans gave in, which normally they do, to give in to Bill Edwards and the gang on the left, and that's including people like Mark Mo Taxes Abraham, Julie Nancy Pelosi Stokes, I ain't raising taxes, Rob Shadwam, and the weak-minded Republicans. And even Taylor Barra. Now, Taylor's going to be on tomorrow. I'm not going to throw Taylor under the bus, but if Taylor doesn't vote for this thing, it never passes. And the reason that is people are watching to see the speaker voted for it, they can get away with it too. But we'll talk to Taylor tomorrow about why he did what he did. And he's supposed to have him on at 9:06 tomorrow. We'll visit with him and let him tell us why give in now. Bill Edwards and them basically got everything they wanted. And that's negotiation by Republicans. You got liberal Republicans with the liberal Democrats, and you got Republicans that give in. Nobody happy about this, except it showed me a couple of things. Number one is we got so many people that work for government. We got so many people on the government dole. We got so many people that depend on the government check. The expansion of Medicaid. I don't want to hear a Republican come to me and say I'm from less taxes and less government. And if they're there, they ought to be able to show me their voting record. Show me their voting record on less taxes and less government. I don't think there's such a thing. I think it's just say it. Just say it to get elected. It's really a shame what they've done to the state of Louisiana. And we'll continue to do to the state of Louisiana because we let them. So we got a 7-year temporary tax to 2025. How many of you people, raise your hands, and I'm going to know who's ignorant, who's stupid, and who don't have a sense God gave a goose. How many people think it's a 7-year temporary sales tax? They told us 2.5 years ago it was a temporary 1-cent sales tax. It was temporary. None of it's temporary. You realize the people that voted for this tax, you Mo Taxes Abraham. Mark Mo Taxes Abraham voted for $3.4 billion in new taxes. Somebody in Lafayette, I forget the name of the group, they figure with inflation it's about $5.6 billion in new taxes. Now I want you to think about this. The 1-cent sales taxes caused all these headaches, and we didn't get rid of it. Well, we got rid of over half of it, Mr. Griffon. They put other taxes, other permanent taxes. This is stupidity at its best. You know how much you know how many taxes these people voted on? Let me just give you a hint. Let's stick just to the sales tax. Okay? They voted for 27 months at 1 cent. That was somewhere around $2.2 to $2.3 billion in new taxes on the one vote. And the new tax they voted for was $3.4 billion. That's $5.6 billion. Almost six. And if you look at the other, almost $6 billion in taxes for the next 9 years. $6 billion in taxes voted on by a lot of Republicans. And they for less taxes and less government. Think about that, folks. $6 billion. We want to know why companies are leaving? And stabilized in it. Let me ask this question then. And you people that are not bright, raise your hands on this one. What did it fix? All I hear is government. Did it fix our economy? No. Did it fix our roads? No. Did it fix our education system? No. What in the heck did it fix? Absolutely nothing. if these people that think they voted for a temporary sales tax, yeah, they did that 2.5 years ago. That was supposed to be till we had tax reform. That's not happening. And I guarantee you what they mean by tax reform is the same thing they mean by having courage to compromise. That means we lose. That means we lose. That's what courage to compromise is. Pop it to the private sector, punch them in the mouth, kick them between their legs, and then laugh at them, and then get reelected. That's what that means. It's a sin and a shame that we got so much involved in government and the Medicaid expansion, which may destroy it just by itself. You got people believe we fixed something. They had a video at Girl State, Boy State. All the kids, they got them together. All PR, Brandon. And everybody clapped and hollered. We got 100% TOPS funded, and that's going to save the world. How does that get you a job when you get out of college? When we've done nothing for the private sector, nothing for the business climate. We didn't stabilize anything. Unless Robert Adley can give us the name of the company that's coming here now because we stabilized the budget. Bill Edwards, I'm going to get to him in a minute. I got so many quotes and comments from him, it's not even funny. It's laughable. All of this is laughable. We fixed the state. We fixed the state. I saw one person. What was the one, and Brandon, you saw it, we got rid of the ghost of Bobby Jindal. We got rid of the ghost of Bobby Jindal. And you know what's sad?
Was the Louisiana Democrat or the House Democratic leadership that kept putting that out there.
Yeah, we got rid of the ghost of Bobby Jindal. Yet Bill Edwards voted for 6 of the 8 budgets. Here it is. John Hilario voted for 8 of the 8 budgets. Francis Thompson voted for 8 of the 8 budgets. Big Lake Fannin voted for 8 of the 8 budgets. We got rid of the ghost of Bobby Jindal, and the guys that voted with Bobby Jindal, that was Democrat caucus Robert Johnson. The ghost of Bobby Jindal. So we raised taxes, taking money out the private sector, taking money away from people where we have less take home, and all of a sudden we're prospering, folks. Wait till you hear Bill Edwards what he said. You're talking about a guy with no clue. Just no clue. We got other comments from other people. By the way, Sharon Hewitt would join us at 10:00. I may change 10:35. Okay. Anyway, I'll be back. Folks, I'm just cranked up. Wait, the things that Edwards has said in the press is run. This is, boy, a miracle all of a sudden. This is a disaster. I'm sticking to my guns, folks. It may take me 6 months or a year or so to prove my point, but I'm going to be right again. I hate that I'm going to be right again. We'll be right back. Everybody's glad they're out. So, everybody's celebrating that part. But who's celebrating on what actually passed? The co-governors are. The liberal Democrats are. And a few, Mark Motax's Abraham and Rob Chadwan, Julie Stokes, those type Republicans who are not Republicans and not even close to being Republican. But then again, maybe they are Republicans. Because it's Republicans that continue to let us down and to give the governor money he doesn't need. It was the biggest budget we've ever had before yesterday. Now, I want you to think about that. The biggest we ever had. Before the vote to raise taxes. And this is raise taxes. The spin that's been phenomenal from the governor and from the press, and they don't want to say the truth. I will. They never thanked us one time for giving them income taxes. That was a $300+ million increase to the state. That's coming right out of our pocket. Trump gave it to us. We handed it to Bill Edwards and gang. And that's what's so frustrating. Here's in the Senate. Give you an example. Let me tell you the games are played. In the Senate, Ron Gaddy, who I got on the other day, and Milkovich, who I got on the other day, they voted no against the budget. So they can go back to people. We didn't vote for that budget, but the fact of the matter is that's unchristian to lie. Well, I didn't vote for it. That's true, but why didn't you vote for it? Because you're trying to bail your rear end out on all the bad votes you got. The original sales tax cost us. It hurt us. This economy can't handle this. It doesn't matter what they try to spend on. They're going to try to spend the economy for over a year now. If it ticks up 1/10 of it, they're going to make it the biggest news ever. Watch. While the other rest of the state, as the rest of the states have boomed, of course we're going to get a little better. But it's not going to be something because of what they did. We they stabilized the budget and state government while people's home budget gets screwed in the private sector. While businesses' budgets get screwed. But we stabilize state government, folks. That's what's more important. Let me just give you some names of some Republicans in the House. Taylor Barra. Mark. Mo taxes, Abraham. He's disappointed, Brandon. He wanted a half-cent. They didn't quite get to a half, so he's probably upset today. Berthelot. S. Carter. Bubba Cheney. Let's get some jobs in here. Well, Bubba, you're running them out. Connick, Cromer, Davis, Dwight, Foyle. There's old Ginn. Ginn loves taxes as much as Abraham do. Brandon, those two are the choices right now for the Senate district of Blade Morris. How would you like to flip a coin to decide, well, who's going to vote more taxes? Ginn? or more taxes, Abraham? Who's going to vote for more taxes? May as well vote for the one that's going to vote for the most. Harvard, Hazel. That a boy, Chris Hazel. Hinskins was a shock, but I think he voted because Barra voted. Hilferty, Frank Hoffman. Frank Hoffman is a social conservative that hides behind the church, too. If you look at Frank Hoffman's record, it's as liberal as you want to find. He's a liberal when it comes to more money. And he can't argue with me. And he also changes his vote. Howard, Leopold, McFarland, G. Miller, Pearson, Pope, Pugh, Pilot. I ain't raising taxes. Rob Shadwan, Stagney, Nancy Pelosi, Stokes, Thomas, and Zarang. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 32. 32 Republicans, and none of them ran on growing the government. None of them. Not one of them ran on growing the government. Not one of them. Yet they helped it grow. In the Senate, there were 6 senators, and I do not count Gaddy, who's voted for everything for Bell Edwards, or who's the other one I mentioned? Who's the other senator in Shreveport? Used to want to call up here all the time. I just mentioned him. I'm sorry. I apologize. Had a brain drain. Milkovich. Oh, Milkovich. Oh, I'm a conservative. Milkovich. By the way, those guys voted for John Alario, too. If Ron Gaddy could sit up, and I'd love to go debate him in his church on his voting record. I'd love to. And I want the first thing we talk about is why he supported John Alario as Senate president. I would love to let's start there. We may end there, too. But yet they're running back and they go, I voted against that budget. They didn't vote against the budget, folks. Those guys right there, that's so cheap it's not even funny. This has not made Louisiana better. It is not stabilized. By the way, Brandon, I do expect you to get a call from David Calicott. Okay? And the reason I'm saying not to call David out, because I like David. David's a smart guy. I know he listens to the program. I hope he's listening now. David, you came on here when you wanted the money. And I was the first one to tell you, sitting right here, you would not lose one penny. And you told, well, based on the budget, we're getting zero. Remember that, Brandon? We're getting zero. Well, you got zero, David, or did you get it all? You got it all. You got it all, David. You got it all. All y'all had to do was go out there and cry and scare the hell out of people. This is no different than what it's been like for a long, 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 long time. This is no different. And it's still the same way. And it's not going to change. Because people like you, Mr. Calicott, who I really like and respect, you're in the game now. And you're in the game. And the game is, when it comes to people like Bell Edwards and Jay Darden, is how can we scare the hell out of people so we can get the taxes? All that a bunch of lies. We're not going to fund TOPS. We're not going to fund higher ed. We're not going to fund the nursing homes. We're not going to fund the universities. Okay? We're not going to fund sheriffs. We're not going to fund DAs. Ask how many of them didn't get funded. But every one of them got on the newspapers, and the liberal leftist Bel Edwards pro-media, and got up there, we ain't gonna get nothing. We're going to let 15,000 prisoners go. I can't go to school. My kids are going to Alabama to go to school if we don't get TOPS fully funded, which is a lie when Alabama costs way more. And it costs more to live out of state. Nobody going to Alabama because they didn't get TOPS. That's made up crap too, and Edwards said it yesterday. Alabama won't steal our best and brightest. No, Bel Edwards. They're going to stay here because you are making this state where people want to go to work. They've done nothing for the job market. Nothing. Nothing. They did nothing to improve our state's job picture. They did nothing to improve our state's job picture. They did nothing to improve education. Nothing. They did nothing to fix a road. $3.5 billion in new taxes, $6 billion since they started the session or more, and they did nothing to fix one thing that makes this state better. But boy, we took care of government. Let's make dang sure government has all the money. And the hell with the people that go to work. And the heck with the people that are Mount Margaret. Let them go. While we have more poor, our incomes are way down. Despite what you read there, our incomes are down. That's all figured with all this government transferring of money, transferring of payments. Our job market's down. It's the worst economy in the country. You can't make this stuff up. But nobody concentrated on that down there. All we worried about was sheriffs. And sheriffs got pay raises. Sheriffs got a 7-8% pay raise. They ought to be real happy. Next year, they're going to take care of teachers and state employees because it's an election year. And we have to win. Republicans put themselves in this position every stinking time. Not all of them. Some of them really fought the fight. Barra fought the fight for the most part. I'm just disappointed at the end because I think when he voted, that allowed another 6-8 Republicans to say, I'll vote now. And I think if Taylor would have held the line, this thing was, they could have never got all this money. They should have settled for a third. They wanted a quarter, and they gave almost a half cent, which is exactly what Bel Edwards wanted. Another one, John Paul Cusar raising taxes, y'all. He voted against it. He made dang sure he voted against it. And Bishop didn't even vote. Now you got to be careful when you say that, Brandon, because somebody said, well, I was at a funeral. They were sick. I thought it was amazing after he got a lot of attention on trying to pass sales taxes with the governor. All of a sudden, he doesn't show up and vote anymore. All right, take a break, quick call. I will come back with all, and I got them loaded up, the Edwards lies, one after another, one whopper after another. And it'll start with his $2 billion budget he inherited, the deficit, which was never $2 billion. All right, folks, I'm just cranking up. Don't go nowhere if you want to be part of it. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. We'll be right back. Oh, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline taking you where the press is never going to take you, at least the print media, dealing with the session. By the way, did food stamp program in? That didn't end either. Sheriffs got their money. DAs got their money.
Fortunately, nobody's getting kicked out of nursing homes.
Brandon, I heard you report there will be no budget cuts. And there had not been none. But hold up, Brandon, you were wrong on your news report. Can I correct you now?
Are you coming with an actual correction?
No. I'm going to quote the governor. If the governor says it, it must be true.
All right.
Governor said, what we did, that's what compromise is. That's courage, folks. Then he said, Edwards adds, this budget will still give nearly $600 million in tax reductions to the state of Louisiana. Would you tell me when your news report said no tax cut, no cuts? Uh-huh. Well, now listen, folks, this governor and Jay Darden at the beginning of the year said they cut $645 million out, and they said they cut $600 million out of this budget. That's $1.2 billion worth of cuts. You have to be deranged, ignorant, or a flat dang out liar to make a comment like that, but they still making them. I'm quoting right here. Go look on Keel's website. Edwards adds he will still give up nearly $600 million. You know why, folks? Because remember, he wanted $600 million more in taxes. He wanted it. Y'all don't forget the deception and deceiving that was going on by this governor and the people in the printed press. Oh, we got to have $1.2 billion more. I'm telling y'all, they would have took $4 billion more from us if they could have. Another one of those big lies that nobody wants to talk about, but I will. The governor said he cut $645 million. David Calicott didn't call me when the first $645 million was cut. Because there was no $645 million cut. He's talking about cut on what they really wanted so they can really buy votes next year. It's so frustrating to watch this and people to believe the crap that comes out of this man's mouth. Honor code, by the way. Right, you can. I don't even let you read what he said. If you think I read it wrong, I'll apologize. We got a budget, Lord, and $1 billion, Lord, and 10 years ago. But he forgets to tell you it was after Katrina. I'm here to tell you, after Katrina, we had a gigantic budget. This was the biggest budget we were ever going to have before the tax increases that was held by the Republicans. Some Republicans, not all Republicans. Let me back up. They've been tough Republicans the whole way. It's something else. The governor inherited $2 billion was a lie from day one. That was a lie from hell. If you go back and look at the election, it was $850 million. It was imploded by this governor, and the press ran with it. How do y'all know? You people sitting around me, how do you know it was $2 billion? Where did they get the figure from? They didn't get the figure from anything. They made it up. You know why they made it up? Because me and you would buy into it. I'm pretty good at guessing, ain't I, Brandon? So there was no $2 billion budget. That was shoved down our throat. That's for next year's election. He took a $2 billion budget and turned it into a $500 million surplus. I can see it because we didn't need to raise these taxes. And if there's a surplus, it's because we did not need to raise these taxes. It's not because they're better managers. Another $600 million in cut. Folks, the economy, let me just give you this. I'm getting my information from the Bureau of Economic Analysis, U.S. Department of Commerce. These are not mine. I didn't make it up. Real GDP grew in 47 states and the District of Columbia. The percentage change ranged from 4.4 in Washington to negative 0.2 in Louisiana, dead last. What did he do to improve the economy? Nothing. What do we celebrate? We took more money out of the people's pockets. This is facts. I didn't make this up. And by the way, it was 0.6 the year before we went down. Medicaid expansion. Once again, this thing about we now stop kids from going to Alabama to school, bunk. They were never going to Alabama. Anybody that wanted to go to Alabama is still going to Alabama. Alabama's more expensive than any school in the state. People that had to have tops to go to school, they had to have tops, which a lot of people did. Oh, I'm only going to get 70% of tops, by the way, they're getting 100. So I'm going to Alabama and pay twice as much. I want you to think, let that sit a second. Bill Edwards, another twist and turn. They suing oil companies, and his buddies in oil and gas, in the law firms are doing. It's one story after another that this man will not be honest, and the press won't be honest, and they're going to shove it down your throat. Edwards said, I want to quote, this was in, what's the date today, Brandon, 26th or 25th?
25th.
Okay, 25th today. This was reported today. Bill Edwards, quote, now that the fiscal cliff is in the rear view mirror, prosperity and stability are straight ahead. Whew. I just gave you the GDP numbers, folks. If we grow any, they're going to brag about the growth because everybody else is growing. Eventually, we got to grow. But that's their twist. That's their turn. That's their spin. If we got any extra money and they start hollering, we got surpluses, that means they overtaxed us. It doesn't mean we're undertaxed. We are overtaxed. How many jobs were lost in the public sector? None. Not one. Brandon, do you have, let me grab this one. Donahue. Senator Jack Donahue. Okay? Let me quote before you give down. Y'all remember Rap Shadow, I ain't raising taxes. Well, Jack Donahue's another Republican. Let me quote this. Brandon's got a deal from him too. Quote, I didn't want to do it. You didn't want to do it. Nobody wanted to do it. Nobody likes the bill on a new sales tax. Now think about this, folks. I don't want to do it. Brandon don't want to do it. None of y'all listen to us want to do it. Nobody likes the bill. What the hell we vote for it for? Why would you vote for something that nobody liked? I mean, that don't make any sense. Here's a quote from, play one, Brandon. We got one more from him.
I don't want to be known as somebody that in favor of taxes, but I'll be damned if I'm going to cut $100 million out of education in the state of Louisiana when I know that's what we need in this state.
Now listen, he don't want to be known for what to vote for taxes. I didn't want to do it. You didn't want to do it. Nobody wanted to do it. Nobody liked the bill. I don't want to be counted as one and vote for it. By the way, the $100 million in education, if they come back, revenue estimating conference later in the year next year, say we got $300 million, that's too many. That's too much tax money. But this is a Republican now. This is Republicans we're talking about. And boy, what a frustration to continue to watch this. I had a, hold on, Brian, there was one more. Do you have another? Did I get you to hold another cut? Oh, here's what they're saying about Barra now. Barra has been blamed publicly and privately for gridlock, but that's changed now. Both Democrats and Republicans praise him. Democrat Sam Jones of Franklin. But at the moment, we needed him most. He stood up and made things happen. Bill Edwards called Barra instrumental in the final session discussion. I will give credit where credit is due. See, this is what people are trying to tell y'all. They love saying, look at these Republicans that passed taxes, because when y'all go against Edwards, everyone say, well, they voted for it. All these good Republicans. You need to get rid of Edwards. You need to get rid of some Republicans. By the way, Donahue again, Brandon. I found one more doozy. Jack Donahue, Senator Donahue, one of the most conservative places in the state. Now, after voting for all that, Brandon, he didn't want to do it. We don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. Nobody likes the bill. You ready, Brandon? I know Brandon gets a kick out of all this. I don't know if it's the way I say it or you just get a kick out of it. Ready, quote, Donahue. Now, all of a sudden, we can't continue to give away money like we give away money. What do you think?
Well, then why we continue to give away money? Oh,
Jack Donahue, a great Republican. We hate doing that. We don't want to do that, but we do it. And by the way, we can't keep giving away money. Well, what the hell you think Bill Edwards is doing with Medicaid? What do you think he's doing with all this money? He goes around and created, you remember, all these problems. We let prisoners go. TOPS are going to be shut down. Then when everything passes, he's going to go back around with pep rallies saying, look what I did for y'all. Look what I've done for y'all. And there's enough people in here. I don't want to be ugly. I don't want to be ugly. We can't continue to give away money like we give away money. You know why we give away money, Mr. Jack Donahue? Because you vote for the damn money. You vote for the money. You vote to give it away. What you think they're doing with all this money? They're going to spend every penny of it. They tell me, man, people were down there. I'm telling you, it makes no sense the way these Republicans talk. Bill Edwards just lies. Bill Edwards now, according to him, Brandon, you still halfway cut to 600. By the way, Sharon Hewitt's going to be on. That's the one he said I can explain it, but I can't learn it for you. Brandon, do you have that piece?
What the soundbite from that?
Yeah, when we come back from the break.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I want to play this again because he bragged he cut $645 million out of the budget to help balance it a couple years ago. Now he's claiming, according to this report, we cut another $600 million. He didn't cut the first $645 million. If they would have cut another $600 million, David Calico would be sitting right by me. But he's not. I asked him to come back by when I got all his money. Hadn't heard from him. I just think if you're going to come in and beg for money, you need to come in, man up when I tell you, and say, Moon, you were right. All right. I like David. I'm messing with him. By the way, I mess with a lot of people, don't I? We'll be right back.
I don't want to be known as somebody that in favor of taxes, but I'll be damned if I'm going to cut $100 million out of education in the state of Louisiana when I know that's what we need in this state.
Words of wisdom, they should have listened to me. Hi, y'all. Welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. They should have. We wouldn't be in this debacle. Now, a couple things real quick, as all the things Edward said was just half-truths and baked-up lies in the press. The media, especially the printed press, that's who's covered most of this. I'm right there with him, and they never bring up anything. You remember he said he cut $645 million out of the budget, and yet there was nobody cried. All the scare tactics that we've been going through for 3 months. And everybody, this was going to close and that was going to close. Can you name one thing that shut down? Can you name one person that lost their job? And you know why they didn't? They went out there and scared the hell out of everybody. And the people that rallied are the people who benefit from bigger government. One day, their nest egg is going to blow up when our economy doesn't recover. And if it doesn't recover, and I know listen, you could have a little bit of a boom because everybody else is booming, but it's not sustainable. We got too much government for the type of businesses we have. It's just way too much. So here was Governor Edwards when he was going back and forth with Sharon Hewitt. And by the way, Senator Hewitt will join us coming out of the next break. Senator Hewitt, and he was trying to explain the $645 million cuts that nobody understood where that came from, and the press never wrote about it because they didn't cover it. They didn't care about it. They just let him say it. But here's what he told Senator Hewitt.
I mean, I can explain it to you. I can't understand it for you, and I'm not trying to be ugly about that.
He's a smart ass. Excuse my French. He is. Just a dang right smart aleck. Because he knows the press has his back. All right. This was Senator Greg Tarver. Doom and gloom scenario. Hey, we closing down the world. Listen to this ignorance of Senator Tarver, who, by the way, is an Edwin Edwards sycophant. Now he's a Bell Edwards sycophant.
We're facing cutting our TOPS, Medicare for the poor. We're about to close all the hospitals in Louisiana because we do not have the necessary money. He told the truth. We've been kicking the can down the road ever since I came back to the Senate. And it's about time that we clear up our fiscal situation.
Yeah, he's the one that said he's trying to get in the taxpayer's pocket. You got that one, too, from Tarver?
Where do you stand? Some would say that Greg Tarver's in John Bell Edwards' back pocket. Disagree?
Well, let me say this to you. I am in the people's back pocket.
There he is. I agree with that statement. That's Greg Tarver. This is the people Edwards is working with, and Republicans give into this crap. I mean, come on, folks. We got screwed, and Republicans helped do it. Bell Edwards, I'm telling you, Bell Edwards, everything he says, $2 billion budget deficit. By the way, they're ripping, saying it's the first time since Bobby Jindal and all those bad budgets, Bell Edwards voted for 6 of the 8. John Alario voted for 8 of the 8. Where was this at? The editorial, we're worried about the longer term, they said. We worry about the longer term and changing the process of what's going on in government functions. Here's the editorial in the Advocate. We blame a lot of today's problems on the political budget decisions of former Governor Bobby Jindal. Remember, Edwards voted for 6 of his 8 budgets. But he also put into place a long-term strategy of spending millions on technology in our state. Over time, because of political crisis, that money has been the first to be chopped. So the overhaul that could make government leaner hasn't gotten done. It did, listen, they passed one bill after another that Edwards vetoed. Don't come with that. Then they're going to defend government. Government's not a business. Its goals are not the same. Investing in children education, training inmates in jails for jobs once they get out are long-term commitments that do pay off, but not in the same time frame as a private enterprise. I got news for you. Without the private enterprise, we don't have anything. Nothing. Zero, zilch. Folks, this is what we're dealing with. They got people out there today going down the road thinking that great things happen and we stabilize. I hope if Robert Adley's listening, please invite him to come on the program with me. I should be at Kiel on Wednesday. And I want him to tell us about this company. Maybe he can bring the company on there with us. The new company that's coming here. Big manufacturing company coming.
He's a damn liar.
Yes, he is. Boy, where's that guy? God have mercy. Make you miss that guy on days like today. Really, you make it just unbelievable. They're running over us. And you got Republicans. Even the lobby jumped up and, we can accept this. As businesses leave and jobs don't grow. That's pitiful. We'll be right back. Senator Sharon Hewitt. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. It is Monday, best day of the work week, despite what the legislature did to us yesterday. 844-766-6607. Hickson has that hotline. What were we joking about? Not the last thing when you went in to rob. Which, by the way, I think they ought to do it. It's before we get to Sharon Hewitt, Senator Hewitt is going to join us in just a second. It's amazing that the GDP, negative GDP 2 years in a row, and the answer is take more money out of the economy from people and businesses. That just makes no sense whatsoever. Maybe they can prove me wrong, but folks, I got a feeling they can't. All righty, Senator Sharon Hewitt, how you doing, Sharon?
Good morning. Doing fine. Thank you.
Sharon, I know you. Let me play something. Remember when the short version, the governor, you questioned him when they were talking about they cut $645 million early in the year. I was losing my mind on it after watching the fiasco of all the people coming out and all the things we were going to close. By the way, none of it happened. You asked him about him claiming he cut $645 million. And I knew it was a lie. You did too. Here's how he responded to you. But after I do this, don't respond yet because I want to give you another quote from him. Here we go.
I mean, I can explain it to you. I can't understand it for you, and I'm not trying to be ugly about that.
He was a total rear end on that, Sharon. But before you make that, let me quote something today that was on the Kiel website. You ready? Now, he claimed back, and when was that? February, maybe? Before the first special session, I think, when you were talking to him? Somewhere in that time frame.
I can't remember. It was about that time frame.
Okay, let me give you a quote from him. Now, this is the governor, on a quote. He says, this is what compromise is. Then he said, the budget he's talking about now, he said the budget will still give nearly $600 million in tax reductions to the state of Louisiana. So not only did he cut $645 the last couple of years, he's saying this budget cuts $600 million. Now, Sharon, that's $1.2 billion in cuts. Nobody complained about his $1.2 billion in cuts. Y'all do a couple $100 million in cuts, they nut up. Explain that to me. I mean, come on. I mean, explain it to me. I'm willing to live. Maybe I can't. Hey, maybe you can explain it. I can't learn it. You can't learn it from me, but that's okay. I want you to take a shot.
I think the governor is the only one that can explain that kind of fuzzy math. But what he likes to do is to talk about a cut being where we are compared to something, and that something is always kind of his wish list or his definition of what it takes to run state government. What you and I look at, and what I believe the taxpayers in Louisiana look at, is the bottom line. What's the budget today? What was the budget last year? What was the budget the year before that? And what we know is what the legislature passed is a $9.6 billion budget in state general fund. Last year, our budget was 10.4. It was 9.1 the year before that, and it was 8.6 the year before that in Jindal's last budget. So the budget's increased $1 billion since this governor was elected.
Let me ask a question.
There's no cuts in that.
That's just no, it's not. But he's claiming $1.2 billion now. I mean, this is total lies and ignorance. But my big question is on this: where's the total budget, and how much bigger has it been since Bill Edwards came in? Is it $5 or $6 billion higher?
It is a whopping $34 billion, the total budget. It is the largest in the state's history, and it continues to grow at an unprecedented rate.
What was it when he came in? 26, wasn't it? 26 and a half, maybe?
I don't have that number in front of me, but that sounds about right.
I mean, that's almost an $8 billion increase since he's been there, if you look at it. I mean, you look at the numbers and tell me if I'm wrong. I want to know.
It's unprecedented.
Yeah.
You know, our spending is completely out of control, and you just can't continue to tax and spend our way to prosperity.
No. By the way, the governor took a shot at you, said it, sent it to you as potential, of course, they call you potential in the governor's race, which you are or not, I don't know. He said, had neglected to recognize mandatory cost increases the state faces in coming years. Now Sharon, I've said this many times. You won't see this in a newspaper article. Me and you as citizens are way more mandated than the state ever thought. I pay a gas tax because I have to. I pay a sales tax because I have to. I pay property tax. I pay flood insurance because I have to. I pay homeowners insurance because I have to. If I sell my tires, I got to pay an extra amount of dollars to get rid of the tires. When you sell a battery, you got to come up with $5 if you don't bring the battery in to do the battery. Yeah, I can go mandate after mandate, property taxes and everything. He keeps bringing up that you're not figuring in the mandates. Well, we're mandated a lot more in state government. They don't ever figure that in for us. My health insurance is mandated on the cost increase that I got. It's ridiculous.
Well, and, you know, that's kind of a play on words also, the point of mandated. So to use your example, yes, you have to have tires for your truck, but you do have choices about whether you buy the top-of-the-line tires or something less expensive. And we have a lot of choices on those things that we are mandated to provide, but whether we have, let's say, a Cadillac Medicaid program or something different, you know, all states have a Medicaid program, but when you look at it, there are significant differences in the programs that we offer, and so that's where the opportunities are. But he wants to say mandated. Let's take that off the table, and we can't talk about any of that. But yet, because our mandated costs are increasing and are out of control, those are the kinds of conversations we should be having.
Yeah. By the way, since 2004, because I know you got Katrina and all in it, but if you look at real numbers, our government's grown twice that of our economy. Our state government's grown twice the economy. Now, if I just got the numbers back in last year, our GDP fell by 0.2%. Everybody else is booming up to as much as 4.5%. Ours is going down. How does that work? How does government keep growing and the private sector and stuff doesn't grow? The private sector has to be the engine to lead government spending, not trail it.
Well, you're exactly right, and that is our problem, is that we are not on solid ground, and we don't have a sustainable model. Our expenses continue to outstrip our revenues, and our policies are driving businesses out of the state of Louisiana. And, you know, we don't have a friendly business tax structure. We don't have a legal environment that attracts businesses. And, you know, although the governor liked to say in his press conference last night that finally we have a predictable and stable financial system, well, yeah, because we locked down this sales tax for the next 7 years.
Well, that's a tax that's never going away. There's no such thing as a 7-year tax. Remember, the sales tax was 2.5 years. Now it's 7 years, and it's totaling about $5.5 billion, not counting inflation.
Well, it is a big concern, and so what we've done is we've taken the pressure off the administration and off the legislature to really do any real budget reform or tax reform. And if we didn't do it in the last 2.5 years, we're not going to do it in the next 7 years under this administration.
Right, but I don't think you'll be in there 7 years. I think you got 1.5 years left. That's my opinion. Senator Sharon Hewitt, my special guest. By the way, you notice how they cried about the sales taxes. You with me? Cried and cried and cried, and the Black Caucus wouldn't vote for it. And the Black Caucus actually shot down the first 2 special sessions. Okay? Then they agree on the increase in sales tax. Just got it in. Louisiana still has the highest sales tax in the nation with the 0.45 of the 1 penny that just increased. As you can see, we're going to be 9.98. Okay? And the ones in second is I think Tennessee. And Tennessee is 9.46. So we still have, and they complain, and the Democrats complain, and the leftists complain with we go down to 9.53. Tennessee is 9.46. We're still the highest in the country. We're still the highest in the country. All of shutdown of the first two sessions, the Black Caucus, the governor, they couldn't get it together on the sales taxes. They agreed to stay the highest sales tax in the country. Just your thoughts.
Well, when you look at the total cost to every taxpayer, we know that the average person in Louisiana pays $1,700 per year in sales taxes, and we just added another $102 per year. If you take, say, the total sales tax collection from the state of Louisiana and divide it by, the number of people, those are the numbers that you get. So it's staggering. And the biggest problem, and the thing that nobody is talking about, is not only did we increase taxes to the tune of $500 million in the state of Louisiana in these last two sessions, but remember, because of the federal tax reform changes,
Yep.
folks are paying higher state income taxes now to the tune of $350 million. So the Louisiana taxpayers just got hit with an increase of $850 million.
Hold up, Sharon, I lost you there for a second. You kind of faded. You said Louisiana taxpayers just got hit with what?
Well, they got hit with another $500 million because of the taxes that we passed in these last two sessions. And then they're on the hook for $350 million in extra state income taxes because of the federal tax changes.
Oh, yeah. No, by the way, I've noticed the governor never thanked the people. He never said, thank y'all for giving us that money. Nobody's ever said thank you. They just took it and ran with it.
Well, right. What was sort of a gift from God on the Louisiana budget is a hit to the Louisiana taxpayers. And so, again, at a time when our taxpayers are paying more, what do? We turn around and we add another $500 million to the bottom line and hit the taxpayers again.
Yep, no doubt about it. Hold your thought. Sharon Hewitt, Senator Hewitt, special guest, talking about the session, the taxes, and the truth that you're not going to read in the Jim Beam column. You're not going to see it in Advocate. You're not going to get any of this. They'll continue to push John Bel Edwards. They do not care about the truth, and they don't care how it hurts. We'll make a break. Be right back. Come back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has that hotline. Senator Sharon Hewitt, my special guest. Yeah, Senator Hewitt, so the sales taxes stays the highest in the country. Can you tell me, by looking at the budget, what you know about it, can you tell me what's been fixed in the state now? Not what's been funded. What's been funded and the way we funded it doesn't fix anything. But maybe you know some things that are now will be totally fixed. We don't have to worry about it anymore because they're now claiming our budget is set now for 7 years. We will have no problems.
Well, I don't really believe that either. I think that if we don't rein in the cost of health care, Louisiana will be in a constant fiscal crisis.
Sure.
Right now in our budget, 40 cents on every dollar in the state budget goes to health care.
That's right.
And it is growing. It's grown from $12 billion to $14 billion. This is total cost in the last 2 years in the state of Louisiana. It is a train coming down the track, and it is about to run us over. And
I think that's why we got a negative GDP right now, too. Our negative GDP is because we are taking so much money out of the economy for Medicaid and other government functions that our GDP is negative. We got a GDP that's negative, and nobody's waking up to that.
Well, that's right. Businesses are what drive GDP, and businesses are leaving the state because there are better places to work, and there are better opportunities for them in other states, and we have to change that. We have to get our tax structure and our legal structure in shape so that businesses can have a predictable, stable environment and a business-friendly environment by which to grow jobs and spur the economy.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that's my big fear too. If the GDP is negative, that means the business climate's in trouble. That means we have an out-migration problem. None of that was focused on in the session. Do you remember anybody ever talking about we better get this business climate straight? We need to get it straight. But they keep telling us that if we stabilize our government, all the business stuff will come out and work fine. And I don't see that. I don't see how they can even make a comment like that.
No, as a matter of fact, to be honest, what we spent a lot of time in the session doing, of course, was talking about taxes. And there were a number of attempts to increase taxes on business in many of the tax proposals. And we know that would absolutely move us in the wrong direction.
No doubt about it.
We have to be competitive. Businesses look at their bottom line, and they look at the math on what it costs for them to do business in Louisiana versus other states. The oil and gas industry has pretty much been driven out of the state of Louisiana.
Yeah, I mean, why do you blame them? I mean, it's lawsuit after lawsuit. I know we had Don Briggs on. He talked about these New York investors a year or two ago, came in here, wanted to re-crank it up, get it going again, and said they left. They said, to hell with this. You got a governor. The trial lawyers are suing our companies, and then you got parishes that are brought in on the suit, and the governor, people are right there saying, well, you better get in on this. I mean, that right there should blow people away with the governor.
Well, and I hear that all over the state as I travel around and talk to oil and gas companies. It is the single biggest reason why they are choosing to invest in other states. We're not the only place where there's oil and gas reserves. The activity in the Permian Basin over in West Texas, they say, is so busy that they don't have enough roads to get the trucks in and out to do the work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're having a problem just getting everybody into the well sites to be able to do the work.
Yeah, that should be going on right here, right now. That should be going on in Louisiana right here, right now. It's very frustrating to watch. I think you'd agree with me. We fixed nothing yesterday. And let me get one more question from you. If we were to have a surplus, don't you think that's because we overtaxed our people? Well,
absolutely. We overtaxed, or we had some revenue improvement that we didn't expect. So, we know actually that we had a surplus this year. We had a surplus last year. And so, part of what we're trying to do is to hold the line on some of our expenditures, because what happens is when we have increased revenue, we spend it. So, for example, what we did yesterday with the budget, and most of your viewers probably didn't pick up on this, but we added, I'm going to call it like a wish list to the bottom of the budget of $43 million.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, if there's additional revenue that comes in beyond what is currently forecasted, we're going to spend it, and we're going to spend it on these projects that total up to $43 million.
Mm-hmm.
So it is just it's just a never-ending wish list of things to spend money on, and we're going to spend every nickel that comes in to state government as soon as we get it, and then that will become the new base for next year in terms of building next year's budget. And so that's part of the reason why government just continues to grow out of control.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Where we at now is the baseline. Now we got to have more. And then what they'll do is they'll put you notice all the things that we were going to close, the prisoners we were going to let go, the people that were going to lose their jobs, none of that happened. Absolutely none of that happened.
No, and it never will. That's part of the challenge that we have as legislators, to be honest, is, those are the choices that we get from the administration, is those kind of catastrophic choices. I don't remember in the 10 sessions that I sat in Senate Finance and heard testimony from the agencies, I don't remember ever hearing anyone say, if you cut my budget, I'm going to have to tighten my belt and become more efficient. Mm-hmm. No, that's not what they said. They said, we're going to discontinue the food stamp program. We're going to kick grandma to the curb. We're going to, shut down LSU football. And those were the kind of choices that we were given. And so the answer was always, well, guess we just have to raise taxes. And I honestly do believe that there are other really good options. But until we continue to bail the administration out on these fixes, these quick fixes with sales taxes, we're never going to have an honest conversation about the real budget and the real expenditures.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, you think the scare tactics will ever go away?
No, I don't. Because they have been effective.
Oh, they have been effective. I'll tell you right now, when you got a media, especially the printed press, who covers most of this, out there shoving it down people's throat, it makes elected officials nervous, and then they rally all the people who benefit from bigger government. They rally every one of them.
Well, Well, that's right. Everyone that worked at a hospital or worked at an institution of higher education, or anyone that, received any of the services that we got, that we fund in state government, there was a very effective letter-writing campaign that bombarded all of the legislators about, their budgets and their need for funding.
Yeah.
And it was painted as if the only answer, again, was to increase sales taxes, when we know there is so much opportunity in the area of Medicaid fraud, for example. It's been well documented by the Medicaid Fraud Task Force that we have opportunities to eliminate who are not justifiably deserving of Medicaid, so that we can take care of those people that really do need our help. But we're not really turning over all the rocks on that, and the governor is throwing up barriers at every opportunity to prevent us from really investigating.
And the press is not covering it correctly. We got to go. God bless, Sharon. We'll talk to you later. All right, folks, we'll see you tomorrow.